Welcome to another episode of the Utility Players Podcast. The last episode of said Utility Players Podcast. This is called the Epilogue because this is the last kind of chapter in the Utility Players book, but it's not the end because myself and Fort will be continuing onto a rebrand of the podcast, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Myself is on. We got Danny Fort. We got B Wonder in the building. So what's going on, guys? And welcome to the last show, or the beginning of the end and the end of the beginning.
Yes. Right. Yes. I'll kick it off because then I got to drop. But thank you. I just want to say to anyone, all of our listeners out there that, we had a lot of fun doing this. When we first started this, I don't think any of us thought we were going to make it this long. It started back in like January. Was it January?
Damn. You started talking in January. I think our first show was like February 1 or like 3rd or something.
Yeah. So it was a long time. For anybody who's ever done this before, it's not as easy as you think it is. It might look easy, but it's not. It's a learning experience for both of us. And then, as time goes, life happens and things, you go down different sorts of paths and time might not be there. So it just, for me, to everyone, all the listeners out there, for me, it just, at this moment, I'm just gonna have to step away from a bit and kind of focus on taking care of my daughter and family. And I'll still be around supporting Fort and Ray's podcast, and probably drop by as a guest, hopefully not to vent about Bears losses or anything like that. Hopefully it's going to be all about the Bulls playoff, deep playoff run. I can't wait for that next year. But I really appreciate everybody that's actually listened to us, family, friends, and even the listeners out there that we don't know that we've met and connected with. It means a lot to me, and this is a great learning experience. And wish you guys nothing but the best. Made some good friends out of this and had a good time.
Love it.
For real. Yeah, pretty much, Ben, dude, you've been the voice of reason for this whole pod, and I just always piggyback off what you said, and exactly what you said is kind of what I wanted to get into. Just it's tough. People make jokes about podcast being this, podcast being that, but it's not easy with two people. Imagine 4 people having 4 different schedules, dealing with 4 people,
different time zones.
Different time zones. I've never met Ben in person before.
Nope.
I didn't really even start chilling or hanging out with Ray as much as I do till this. I was just at Ray's house the other night, and going there and being with Ray and recording with him. That is something that probably would have never happened had we not got this started. And just learning from everyone and making relationships, and honestly, all the listeners and people that bought into it, not knowing who we weren't sponsored by anybody. We weren't backed by anybody. We were just 4 random ass dudes that just wanted to get on a pod and talk whatever shit we wanted to about sports, about life, whatever the case may be. And it was definitely a learning experience. It was fun. It's something that I've always wanted to do. I want to keep doing, and I'm just excited for what we did. We did a lot of stuff, like you said. I didn't think we'd get 39 episodes. That's a lot, especially throughout the course of a year. A lot of people can't stick with things for a month, and we did it for almost a year. So that just shows to our resiliency, our determination, and actually wanting to get something going. And the buck don't stop here, baby. We still rolling.
Nope.
We still rolling. We got more stuff in the works. We got other things coming on. It's just going to be a little different. And to the people that were supporting us already, I hope you keep supporting us. I hope people get more involved, and I'm just excited.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, what I was going to say, damn it, I had lost my train of thought. Damn it. I won't miss that. I will miss that. I was going to be good too. Damn it. I don't know what I was going to say.
Ending pod, new pod, friends.
Yeah, no, I'm just,
family.
For everybody out there, make sure you just tune right over to Ray and Danny's new pod. I'll be promoting it for sure. But I'll just say to you too, I appreciate both of you. Thanks for teaching me things. Thanks for putting up with me. And yeah, you know.
Yeah, you're super high maintenance, man.
No, I know. Hey, like
The diva.
I always,
there's always a diva in a group, and that was definitely you.
yeah. There's never. I always tell people this. It's never goodbye. It's I'll see you later. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
no goodbyes.
Don't worry, me and Ray gonna make a trip to Iowa soon.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I thought he said
But
no
hey.
goodbye. I thought he said no goodbyes and then logged off.
Yeah, I thought so because
No.
I don't see his face no more.
Oh yeah, my wife's calling me right now.
Be Wonderverse, love it.
Yep.
Better answer the wife.
I will. I'll just step inside here in a second. But hey, I gotta drop, guys. So,
Yeah,
All
you're
good,
good,
brother.
man. You're good. You're good.
hey, love you guys.
Love you
Take
too,
care.
man.
Well,
Always.
people will
Peace.
be hearing from you soon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'll be around. I come out of nowhere. I'm like Dave Chappelle. I'll disappear, go on a African safari for 12 years, and then I'll show back up ready to fuck shit up again.
I love it. All right, brother.
Peace.
Be good. Peace.
All right, man. See you. Go Bears.
Yeah, Nets are playing the Bulls tonight, so I got my my throwback shirt on. But just to continue on that vibe, where at the end of the day, it's like it's weird when he was talking, you were talking. I was like, I should be sad a little bit, but in my head, I'm like, but wait, we're still going, we're still moving
still
and
going.
improving, So it's been fun. Yeah, it's been a great opportunity because I think all four of us never really did it before. I know you and Gravy had tried something way back. It did a little bit, but it's like everything. You kind of start to put things in motion, and then it doesn't work out, which is fine. But for me, I can't speak for the other three people, but I enjoy the creativity, voicing something, having things to talk about with my friends, family. It's a way to connect to people. So like Ben said, and you said, we talk to people on Twitter and IG that we don't really know. Like today, I seen somebody that knows about the pod that's a friend of Vito and Robbie that I met I think a few months ago. And he knows me just from kind of meeting, and then knows me from the pod, asked me about the podcast, knows me as Elvis. It's just that was kind of cool just to see somebody out in public and just be like, oh shit,
like when,
what up,
when we were at Township, and what's his name again? Damn, he's gonna call me out on this. When we were sitting down and he came in, we were talking about tennis.
Manny?
Yeah, Manny. He's
yeah.
Sport. He's like, all right, what's good with these bets? I'm like, bro, I don't know shit about tennis, dog. Like, you gotta
That's so funny.
On.
He knows a lot about tennis too. He gets it in, especially with the women. He'll be sending me Snapchats of him watching women tournament, round of 32, at 8 a.m, some wild shit.
Hell no.
He's funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I also went to speaking of kind of that, but I also went to a Halloween party at the Bet the Farmhouse, another podcast. And I met a few of those hosts in person a couple of times, but then there's other people that do the producing. And I met this kid, Kyle, that we've talked via Instagram or whatever, but we never met. And then when we figured out who each other was, we were like, oh shit, what up? And then we had a good time. But it's just shit like that's what you do it for. You do it for networking, having fun. It's just a creative space. So I'm glad that me and you could keep it going. And then
it's not like we're getting paid or anything like that. It's literally just a spot where we come on, talk some shit, and have fun, interact, and just do whatever. And hopefully we get some feedback from y'all. And most of the time you don't agree, but that's the whole point of it. Because if everyone agreed all the time, then life wouldn't be fun. Yeah. So
it's better. Yeah. We rather people side text us and in group chats call us out for something we said, whether it was funny, whether it was a hot take or whatever. And that creates a conversation right there. We're excited for this new pod we're doing. We haven't confirmed the name yet. Look out for that. But what we're going to do, we'll kind of give you guys an intro of what we want to shake up and do differently. Cause I think as you evolve, we're going from 4 people to 2 people. We want to do a couple episodes a week. We want to hop on IG Live, do more YouTube Live. I know we talked about it before, but like you guys said, getting for people's schedules together to do some of these things like a IG live or YouTube. It's hard.
Yeah.
So we want to get more interactions with people who listen and just have fun. Like we could be recording an episode and people commenting about what we're saying or kind of going. It's almost like calling into a radio station.
Exactly.
And then kind of doing that. We want to do that and have fun and do something new. We want to kind of move away from talking maybe a little bit too in depth with sports because we have women listen to this podcast. I know people in my family, friends listen on my side, at least. I can't speak for the other three or you, Fort, but where I'm sure they skip ahead of some sports talk and whatever, but which we know about, but we also want to show other topics that we're knowledgeable about and kind of think we have an expertise in that will kind of get people talking and stuff. So we want to shake things up for the new podcast. We're excited and hopefully that comes best case scenario early next week or late next week, but we want to change things up. Feel free. Like we say, always DM us, let us know what you want to hear. Cause at the end of the day, it's not, we listen to this podcast maybe once or twice during the week, but I know more people are engaging and listening to us that we want to kind of cater to you in a way, but also be ourselves. Anything on that as far as new podcasts, what your take is, opinion and stuff like that? Move forward.
No, we just, like you said, it's probably not going to be, tomorrow or next week or anything like that. We want to make sure everything's right. We want to make sure we do it good. Everything's in order. I'm glad we had this, these 40 episodes almost that we did. And even though we had no like set time before we recorded it or we just chopped it up for 5 minutes and then hit record, we did no takes, nothing like that. Good learning experience. I mean, I'm definitely going to take everything that we did in this pod and try and evolve with the other one. I love the idea of more episodes a week. That way we have more time to talk about stuff that's going on during the week, whether it be shit that happened at Travis Scott Festival or over the weekend in sports, whatever it is. That way we're on top of events more and news more. And I'm so hype about doing a YouTube live because I think that's when people get to interact the most, and we'll have random people jumping on for who knows. I mean, someone can jump on for like 20 minutes and be like, oh, I like these guys, and just fuck with us for the rest of the pod. So yeah, I mean, a lot more content. Try and capitalize on a lot of more things that we said we were going to do. So it should be fun. I mean, just rock with us. We'll give you guys some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. It kind of feels like, that learning curve for that 38, 39 episodes, whether it dealing with, as a team, 4 people. And then obviously, I think we tweeted this out a couple of weeks ago. We don't edit things. We don't intend to. It's kind of like, I think we can edit if we wanted to and kind of cut things out or make things less awkward. But I prefer, I was going to say I prefer raw, but then I would have had to say pause, but I will now. But yeah, raw content, raw conversation. Cause, myself, I know you and then Ben, big Joe Rogan podcast where it's just sometimes just 3 hours of just hit play, hit record. And then you feel like you're in the room with them. And I want to kind of jump off that where it's like 30 minutes, 45 minutes every time. And it feels like you're in the room, or literally if we do that YouTube live and stuff like that, you are literally in the room with us to say your opinion on a topic, or we're definitely going to have more people on. That's one thing that we didn't get to do because it was so hard scheduling wise with us. It was hard to tell a guest, hey, we're going to do a podcast on this day at this time. Once you tell somebody that and then you change it, you don't want, you know what I mean? You don't want that. They might not give you another opportunity, but
exactly.
Now that it's us, we want not only our friends, people that know shit, that are funny, that have some good insights about some topics that are going on. So that'll kind of change from week to week, but also other people that we have a list of that are known. I know I have my resources with people that I know in either music industry or business that are doing their own thing, that shit, they could come in and talk about their story, talk about their business or what they got going on, promote it. And then, we might not be huge as having thousands of listeners per episode, but we could be kind of another platform where, even if it's one person, right? When you're building a business or a brand, one more person listening or that knows about you is better.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. Podcast is kind of like a producer, producer's career. Like all you need is that one rapper to get on your beat that everybody knows and everyone fucks with, and now everybody wants your beats. So I mean, I don't really even care, bro, how many listens we get or how many downloads we get, dog. Like I don't do it for that. I just do it so I can come on here and I could talk shit with you. You talk shit back, and people listen. And if they like it, cool. I love getting texts. I love seeing the DMs. Like, bro, like I honestly don't know where this podcast would have been if it wasn't for you, to be honest. Cause like, bro, all the rest of the three of us, like we work, like we have day jobs and shit, Thank God you were able to, since you got what you have going on and you don't have a day job, you don't have to do that. You were able to be on Instagram all day, every day.
Yeah.
And like what you did for that shit, that was awesome, bro. Like, I don't think I tell you that enough.
Yeah,
so
thanks,
like,
man.
thank you for that, man. Like it's just crazy seeing like how you went from like when we first started doing it to like your post now. Like there's so much more intricate and like there's so much better. Like you guys so good at that shit, dog. Like you need to be like running social media for like companies and shit, dog.
For sure. It's wild, and I appreciate that. It's funny because up until this year, I think I posted more on my story, but I don't do any posts on my personal. I don't even put like too much of my personal life on there. But it almost was an outlet with this podcast as far as posting and interacting with people, whether it was liking their pictures or commenting on things, where it gave me a way to channel that and put it towards that, in this platform. And I was trying new things, obviously, like you said, trying things early, trying like creatively with posts or stories. I'm not one to want to try to get credit for it. Obviously, I try to represent us whenever I did something, but I learned a lot from it, and it's good. I always joked around with a couple of people that said things like that. I was like, there's always a Justin Timberlake in every group, and sometimes you see an opportunity, you gotta be a little JT. But hey, you could be wait, what's the other guy?
I have no idea.
No, I was gonna drop another NSYNC reference, but you know what I mean. But yeah, so at the end of the day, there's always got to be in a group. There's always got to be somebody that steps up, but does it for the group more importantly. And hey, that's what I had to do. But now that we have a pure 50-50 split on any decision, the name was, it's pending right now because we woke up early this morning and discussed things about a name for the podcast, and I think we got one kind of locked in. We might have to play around with the words here and there, but we got my boy Filthy McNasty on the logo design. That's going to pass it to Gabby, Fort's cousin, who designed our logo, Utility Players, which she did that in I felt like she did it in like 48 hours, right?
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah, it was super quick and
her,
on point. We told her one idea, like have the 4 faces, send her pictures, color this and that, and boom, it was ready. So shout out her. I can't wait to see what Phil does with the logo or has ideas, and then we send it to her. And then obviously we're looking for music people. We have a couple people lined up that we're going to get music from, but if you're listening to this and have some music and you create beats, we're keeping it open.
Yeah,
what else? Open. So logo, music. We went through kind of like what we're changing up, because I want to get into a couple topics here now that we have time, and we don't know if we're going to be on for a week or two. But let's see what else we have. Weekly guests. Yeah, so we're open to suggestions. We want to have fun with everything and keep it going. Anything on your end as far as the process of the podcast moving forward?
No, nothing that I can really think of. Just glad to be able to keep this going and kind of just evolve along with it, and just excited for what the future holds, man. I think we'll definitely have some good stuff, and I think it's a good time right now too to do that as well. So I'm happy, and I don't
not to put you on blast, but do you want to keep the Bet the Fort name? Do you want to rebrand that, rename it? Because it's up to you.
Oh nah, we keeping that train rolling.
Let's
keep
that
train rolling.
Dude, right now if you were below 50%, you might be like, let's change it up.
Let's change it up. See what we could do. Yeah.
And I like that we have Daquan on the UFC betting. He went 6-3. last week for
He
what was
was
that?
solid.
268. The card, right? 268
Yeah,
UFC.
I think 268. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
fucking
6-3.
amazing card. Yeah,
Oh my
that's really
goodness.
good. That's really good for UFC. 6-3. Jesus Christ, that's really good because like any of those fights could have went either way too, except like the last one and the Rose fight.
If you were
But
6-3 with NFL football Sunday this weekend, you would have been
bruh,
like,
you
dog,
better
that was
play the lotto.
because everybody was hitting. I know, and a whole lot of everybody's bets and
Yeah,
FanDuel and
man.
all that. It was a mess.
Dude.
I'm in a FanDuel league. It's 7 or 8 people. We bet $10, winner takes all. And usually the highest score is 120, 130, something like that. I won it. Ironically, that I bring it up. I won it at 103, and the next highest person was 83. So that lets you know,
Man.
like, no individual players were even doing it either.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas doesn't lose. Vegas always winning. But like, if
House always
Vegas had, if Vegas was in any kind of deficit this NFL season, they made it up yesterday. They made that shit up yesterday, probably just on the Bills Jags game alone. Because who in their right mind is gonna bet on the Jags? There was a stat that said that the Jags hadn't kicked a field goal at U.S. soil yet. All their field goals were in London against the fucking Dolphins.
And then my
Just
man
my luck.
went out and missed what, 3 in a row or something like that. That was crazy.
I don't know. I mean, they won 9-6. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like, bro, just so many games. Everything just went bad.
If the Dolphins and the Giants are winning on the same Sunday, shit's crazy.
Shit's
You know
crazy.
what I mean? Even though you
It's
guys were
crazy.
playing the Poopy Bowl, you know,
Right,
1-7 versus 1-7, and
It's trash.
you know, whatever. You take a dub when you can in the NFL.
Of course.
Yeah, let's chop it up. I know we wanted to make this episode, you know, a short and sweet 30, 45 minutes, kind of try out our new timing. I know episodes in the past with 4 people, multiple topics, going into depth with sports. Now we're going to kind of scale that back a little bit. We want to discuss topics. I know we got a lot of feedback on episodes that we didn't go into sports too much, but we talked more about news, trending stuff, opinionated topics. Whether you liked it or not, you still listened. And we want to recreate that in a shorter episode and do a couple, because with us being able to do maybe a Sunday, Monday episode, whatever day, and then doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday kind of gives us that option to spread out the news and kind of go into things. But I think one of the biggest non-sports topics that happened this week was Travis Scott in Houston, Astro World. Obviously, every time he has a concert, it's always a turn up. It's always wild. Fans are usually getting hurt and something happening, but now, you know, it resulted in some deaths and some tragedy. What did you hear? What did you learn from over the last week about that? And what is your opinion about it? Because obviously everybody went crazy on social media like he's the world's worst human being right now.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I agree, but then I don't agree because, you know, there's only so much you could do. What did you see from that?
One thing is people under 18 shouldn't be allowed at these kind of things, honestly. Just because, I mean, it's Travis Scott, like, you know what you're going to get yourself into with that. Yeah, like you were saying, you know, his concerts always go crazy, but I don't know how people were getting these freaking like shit to inject people with. Like, bro, that's nuts. And like, I mean, as
Is
a
that
performer,
what people were doing drugs wise and stuff? Like people were
yeah,
just
they said that someone was injecting people with something
come
going
on, like
around.
and
Yeah.
didn't know, or they were doing
Like,
drugs and like, all right, like giving them
no,
bad drugs.
no, I think someone was just going in and just like with a
Oh
syringe.
damn! All
Yeah,
right,
some
so
shit
I
like that.
mean,
I don't know. Yeah, that's nuts. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. And I mean, I've been to some pretty crazy events, some pretty crazy concerts. Like, I haven't been to Rolling Loud, but I know Rolling Loud got just as crazy as that. Granted, he was in Houston over the weekend. That's where he's from. But I mean, there has to be some kind of age limit for this kind of stuff, because just seeing like 14-year-old kids passing away, like I think it was a 10-year-old that passed away. There's
yeah, it's
no
8
reason
people right now that were
yeah,
dead.
you know. And I mean, there's things saying that, you know, they were telling him to stop the show. And as a performer, I get it. Like, that's what you live for, to perform your work, to perform your music. But if you're hearing that there's people hurt, that there's people like passing out, that there's people dying and shit like that, like, come on, you got to have some kind of sense to just like say something, or no one's going to calm down. Like, people aren't going to calm down at your show, but it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of like pictures and people comparing it to like sacrificial stuff, and get into the whole religious kind of deal with it, going, over the top. And I mean, some of it actually kind of looks like it and kind of makes sense, but
Yeah.
that's to each their own. I don't really want to get into that because, people lost their lives, loved ones were affected and shit like that. But it's a sad situation.
For sure. He issued a statement a couple days ago on Twitter, and then CNN reported that he'll be, paying for funeral costs and all that. And at the end of the day, he's still going to be, the court of public opinion has gotten worse and worse, with social media. And, you got these people commenting and posting, and, all of a sudden everybody on Twitter is a perfect human being that never makes mistakes,
Right.
God forbid we analyze them at their own job, which the entertainment that could be involved at that person working, no offense, at Kmart or something, sweeping floors, can't even probably do that properly. But all of a sudden, everybody's a perfect human being. Everybody's judgmental. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you're the worst. Oh, you don't get," which I get. That's fine. But he can make mistakes. I'm sure he'd be the first person to tell you he's probably made the mistake, whether he knew what was going on. I would hope to assume he didn't know exactly what was going on. He was performing on a stage that was above people, that people are saying, stop the show. But if you're a performer and you're doing your thing, I don't think you know what's really going on. Like I said, maybe he did, maybe he did. I'm hoping that he heard it and still didn't know.
Dude, okay. I went to a Machine Gun Kelly concert I think I was still in high school, or I had just finished. I can't remember.
You're one of those people.
I was 18. Well, first off, I'm talking all this shit like people under 18.
That's what I mean.
I was above age.
There.
Yeah,
all been there, bro.
I remember he got a midget on stage and made him chug vodka from like a big ass bottle. And then him and someone else grabbed him. They swung him and threw him into the crowd.
Wow. And that's abuse. And by the way, we call them little people. Out. They want to be called for little people, not midgets.
I was going to ask if that's the correct term. He passed out.
Just
in
case.
Out, of course. After there was an ambulance, like they pulled him out in a stretcher and everything. But like, I mean, shit like that happens at events. Like, maybe not to the extent that, the Travis Scott stuff happened, but I mean, there just has to be some kind of, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy how someone's literally walking around trying to harm people.
I'm looking at these headlines, and it's like pro of Travis Scott, Astro World concert disaster explores role of illegal drugs. And I'm thinking about all these headlines, and obviously they're gonna demonize one person. It's always fun to demonize, as in the back of me to my left, Aaron Rodgers is getting that heat, and we might touch on that in a second. But I don't know. I keep going back to society, and now that we're gonna get our own podcast and we're gonna have time to talk about these things, like it or not, I get a platform to say my opinion. Is we're painting, Travis Scott is in the hip hop world, as far as we know, he's doing exactly what we know he does, right? He has wild ass concerts. He does drugs. In his rap, he talks about drugs. The kids that listen to him probably do drugs, right? Let's not be immature about this, right?
Yeah, let's not be naive.
Now that it's become mainstream, that it's national news, it's who's this person? I thought he was, and all these people know about him because he's in relations with a Kardashian or a Jenner, whatever you want to say. And that's how they know him, right? They know him as that black rapper that has a baby. Oh, they're so cute. They're so nice. Yeah. But then he turns exactly into what they know him as, or they want to project him as, like, oh, see, he's just another rapper doing all these drugs, promoting violence. And it's crazy because at these concerts, when you step back and look at it, obviously it's unfortunate about the deaths, but if you just step out and look at these concerts, what do you think? Alcohol's not being involved. What do you think? Death, Woodstock, the greatest concert of all time that we all know. We don't generations, 3 generations after Woodstock has happened.
Talk about it.
And it's still a thing. And what happened at Woodstock? People were on so much drugs where people were dying, passing out, like all this stuff, but we glorify that. And that's what gets me a little bit annoyed at stuff like this. In the now, we demonize one person, we criticize, we have an opinion, which is fine. But then we glorify other historical events similar to this in a different way. And that's what I have an issue with.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I'm kind of reading some stuff now talking about like they had an increase in security.
There was not a lot of room in that. They were all being smushed. The crowd, that was pretty wild.
That was another thing saying how
could people for bad things
suffocate in outdoor crowds? They were just jumping all over each other, running all over people. See, that's like something else, bro. Like, I don't understand. Like, you don't have to be right up there, bro. Like, the chances of that many people being there and you being at the front to see Travis, like, are slim to none. Like, that many people running and like, that's what I'm saying. Like, these like underage kids shouldn't be there, like, because they can't protect themselves, like, So it's tough. It's sad. I mean, I don't really have much words for it. I know Travis is getting sued. I think Drake's getting sued as well. Like, Drake's probably just at the crib in Toronto, like, yo, I just got invited. Like, what the heck? I didn't do anything.
It's not gonna be. Yeah, it's not gonna be. Drake's not. I just read a headline that talked about Drake, and he'll be fine from it because, like I said, it's easier and more fun for society to blame one person than spread that out. Obviously, Drake will have to make a statement or whatever you want to call. But right now, Travis Scott is public enemy number 1. Aaron Rodgers is number 2, and that's just how it is. That's how it works. Guess what?
Yeah, Henry Ruggs might be up there too.
Yeah, he'll pay for things. He apologized. He'll do something, to try to make people happy. Because at the end of the day, Fort, no matter what he does, he could cure cancer right now, and people will still be like, nah, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, so
8 people died at your event. Yeah,
that's what I mean. So, this will all go away because guess what? Another thing will happen in the news. We'll forget about it. And then 6 months, those same people that never listen to Travis Scott a day in their life be like, isn't that blackhead guy that with braids that like had a bunch of people die at his concert? Oh, I don't like him. And then that's it. That will be what he's known for in a way. And then he'll make another hit record and still make millions and everybody will get back to it. Moving on, Aaron Rodgers, we'll touch on that briefly before we end because that's another major non-sport topic that's controversial. Everybody has an opinion on it. Public enemy number 2, I'd say, because number 1, death. Number 2, we're gonna say that he almost caused death, but basically got interviewed. For people who don't know that are listening, he got interviewed before the season started. They asked him if he was vaccinated. He said he was immunized. Right? He used
immunized or something.
Immunized, right? Yeah. He used a little play on words where obviously we all are as a kid.
Right.
The reporter didn't follow up on what he meant. So he was a little tongue in cheek. That's something, if I'm an athlete, I know a lot of people in a group chat said a bunch of things today. If I'm an athlete and things are political and picked, and that's what he said on the Pat McAfee show, where everything you say is just being nitpicked politically and agenda driven. I could relate. If I was asked that question before the season, I probably would have said some slick shit like that. Because
of course,
first of all, I don't owe it to the media or the fans to tell you whether I am or not. You're not interacting with me, really.
Not at all.
I mean, you are, but like, I still got what I take it as, and I'll let you, say your opinion after I state this, is I take it out on the Packers and the league. He said the league knew that he wasn't, let him walk around with a mask or whatever their policy is, because whether I agree with it or not, their policy is one thing, and he kind of didn't obey that. And then I think the Packers should have, managed that better. I think, obviously they should have had somebody, enforcing the rules and policies that the NFL. So a lot of people are going to get fined. He might get suspended, or when he comes back, I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I don't think it's not even, people are like losing their minds over it. And I don't think it's as big of a deal. Obviously he's an asshole. He's an idiot for saying some things, but we'll all move on after he comes back and makes a deep playoff run. Let's be honest. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know too much about it. I feel like it should be. It's just kind of dumb how. I mean, I get they want to protect the players and everything, but the thing that doesn't make sense to me is if Devontae Adams, who's on the same team as him, and I'm sure they're hanging out all the time because that's his guy. Like that's who he goes to when he needs to play. So they're hanging out, they're together. Devontae Adams has the vaccine. He's vaxxed up. He got COVID. Aaron Rodgers didn't have the vaccine. He got COVID. How, like, Jordan Love didn't get COVID, and they're most likely in the same room together watching film. And COVID's supposed to be this thing where you got to stay 6 feet apart. You got to like wear a mask. You got to wash your hands, which should be a given. Everyone should be washing their hands. But like,
wash your butt.
Also, like, I also said this on the other pod, like a few episodes ago. I can't remember. Like, these are football players. These are primetime athletes. Like, they're not regular people. Like, these dudes are in prime shape. They work out every day, multiple times a day. They do what they're supposed to do. They eat right. Like, it's just so, if Aaron Rodgers wants to do something else that doesn't have anything to do with the vaccine, that's probably better off than the vaccine, he should be able to do that. But yeah, I agree with you. It shouldn't be on him, because the Packers should have figured out, hey, if we're making it mandatory for our players to get vaccinated, like, just because you're Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean you get away with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that was the case, then it would have been cool that Devontae Adams didn't get the vaccine, because Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams. So it's just like, I don't even know if the owners want to go into it, because there's no way Rodgers is the only player that said he was quote unquote vaccinated, but he's not. Because I'm sure there's a lot of players in the league that don't agree with certain mandates or don't want to do things that they're supposed to be told. So it's not really his fault. I mean, he told a little white lie, you know, and Aaron Rodgers is that kind of dude.
Taking my
that
lines.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Aaron Rodgers is that dude that likes to be on the edge, and I mean, he doesn't talk to his family and shit like that. So like, it's what you would expect from him. But
for sure,
I don't know. It's kind of bullshit that this is really like a story and people are talking about it, and like, what was it? They were calling Allstate and shit. He doesn't have Allstate commercials now. Now he's losing more money. Like,
yeah, I don't think they drop him. I think they just want to do some like damage control. Like, all right, let's take you off TV. Now, he didn't discuss it. I'm sure they made it. Let's take him off TV for a little bit. Let's make sure by the time he gets back on the field and winning games, then we put him back on. It as a company, it makes sense to take him. Don't drop him, because that'd be silly. That would almost. I personally have State Farm, and I personally would probably not change my policy because of it. I would definitely judge them as a company because they did that. That'd be so silly. But take him off TV. Don't show it. Don't promote it. He's still getting paid. Whatever. Let's see what happens over the next. But to end my opinion on it was, when you have a country and a world that is so divided by this politically, monetarily, ideologically, everything, right? We're all, we have a group chat and it's like of 12 people and 6 lean this way, 7 lean this way, 6 are like 50-50 split, whatever. We can't agree, we all have similar situations. We all kind of grew up the same similar way with, we all disagree, and it's not even political. And then you get into the political game, and then you get into the, I feel guilty because I didn't get it. So I have to make sure I put down the other people who did, and vice versa. The rules and laws are so all over the place. You got Kyrie Irving, who is not vaccinated, that won't get vaccinated because New York City demands it, yet Bradley Beal, who isn't vaccinated, is allowed to play in New York City. So that's like saying, hey, I work at place A and I can't work there, but Fort, you could come visit and work there temporarily for that day. How does that make sense? Right?
It doesn't.
That's what I mean. No one could ever tell me that makes sense. That person A could work at a location, but he has to be vaccinated. If he's not, he cannot work. And then person B can visit from coming wherever they're coming from and do their job. That there's nothing that, it's too much political shit. This is why I'm so worried about all of it is when you're not making basic, simple decisions like that make sense. What other shit are you making? Not so I'm open-minded. I try to be a free thinker. That's what I, stress and take pride in. But a lot of this shit ain't making sense. It's making a lot of dollars, but it ain't making fucking sense. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Pfizer says that they're gonna what's the word I'm looking for?
Monetize.
No, not monetize.
Profit.
They're
Donate.
gonna exceed their quarter 4 projections. Really? Who would have thought?
I told people at the crib the other day, 18 months ago, I owned Moderna stock. It cost me $65. Guess how much it is now?
Shit's at like 300, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you mean to tell me people aren't making, like, come on, let's go. And I owned it right before. So I started getting into the stock market before the pandemic and whatever. And I was making money cashing in, dipping out. And then I just stopped the game because it would go up to 100, go back down. But that shit went quadrupled or I don't even know what times 5 and 6 is, but that's what it did. Like, you mean to tell me people aren't making money? So if whatever, whatever your political side is, we could all agree that this is way deeper than just
speaking of
helping out your neighbor and making sure your grandma don't get sick. It's deeper than that, guys. Let's get serious.
You ready for this? My brother was telling me this as he was taking me to the airport. Crocs, the shoes.
Yep, the shoes that I've never owned a pair of, but hey, it's comfortable.
Before COVID, or like as COVID hit, they dropped down to $10 a share when everything closed up. Okay. Guess what Crocs shares are at right now?
So I'm gonna, without knowing a number at all, I'm just gonna give you an educated guess. They started at 10. They probably were at 15, 20 average. I'm gonna say they're at $52.
Dog.
Don't tell me more.
If you want to buy one share of Crocs right now, $175.95.
What did they do different since?
Everyone just started buying Crocs.
What do they do? Improve Crocs somehow? They got some soles in there.
After COVID, everyone's like, all right, we want to buy some Crocs. And they started adding those little things that you can put on the holes, I think. I don't know if they had those before.
Fucking pins?
Yeah, I guess I have no clue, but like, I don't know, bro.
That's like, wild. That's a wild example. I'm a better human being because I know that fact right now.
He told me that last night as he was taking me to the airport.
He left you with a nice little golden nugget on the plane.
That's what I'm thinking on my flight. I'm like, yo, fucking Crocs, dog. Like, who would have thought? Damn. And I told him, I was like, bro, I didn't even know Crocs was a public company. I was like, and if anything,
yeah, I didn't know that either.
That's and if anything, I was like, I thought that they would probably be owned by someone else, like Walmart or Kohl's or
I didn't
Amazon or whatever, traded. But yeah, $180 for a share of Crocs, way more than whatever the shoes are worth. So if you're gonna buy some Crocs for your family, just buy like 10 shares of it instead.
That's crazy. All right, well, we went long enough. I'm gonna get a couple headlines out of the way. We're not even gonna speak about it. I just want to mention them. Free Odell, whatever that means, bum ass dude. Fetty Wap was down here in Miami, got charged a couple of weeks ago for some gun charges or something like that. Fetty Wap didn't even know he was still alive. God bless
baby,
him.
Won't you come my way?
There you go. New Jersey, shout out. Hey. Apple started COVID cards on the new thing. You know how you got Apple Wallet, you got Apple COVID cards now.
They've been doing that though. They've been doing like COVID.
Y'all think this shit is ending now? I like how a year ago we were like, "Oh, this is gonna be over." It's never gonna end.
Right.
It's
Facebook,
people that aren't educated. This shit's
Facebook changing their name.
Oh, I had that. Facebook changing to Meta, the corporate name. I seen the meme that a lot of grandmas are gonna log onto their phone, not know how to whatever. My cat's trying to climb up right now. Damn it. Speaking of cats, Harrington, welcome to the show. Talk about your cat, your shirt.
Oh,
situation you got going on.
rest in peace, Tony the cat. I probably got it a long time ago, but I bought it like almost 2 months ago, but I was down in South Florida and I didn't think I was going to be there that long. So I had it shipped here. For those of you that don't know, Adam 22 podcast, funny ass podcast.
Jumper. And if
Yeah,
you know him,
no
you
jumper.
might know a little bit too much of him, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. But his cat passed away. But his cat was always on the pods, like getting smoked out and shit like that. 18 years, that's a good life for a cat.
That's a good life. Bree is under the impression that all of our cats are going to live forever. So don't tell her 18 years. That's going to be enough.
But yeah, I mean, I fucks with the No Jumper podcast, balling like an athlete, but got no jumper. I fucks with cats, and it's just like one of those cool shirts, you know, those memorial type shirts. Buddies in the
I like that.
Shit. So
that's funny.
I got like $10 off, which was pretty much the shipping. So said fuck it, why not? Copped it.
Love
and
it.
Also like some of the proceeds go to like some animal shelter or something in LA, and it's always cool to help out animals.
Of course, especially cats.
Yeah, 100%.
Big cat guy here. I was gonna say big pussy guy here, but hey, now that we're changing up podcasts, I might be a little bit more wild. You know, a lot of my friends are saying, "Hey, Ray, why you?" I'm like, yeah. Sometimes you got 3 other people talking, and you know can't express yourself as much.
Right.
This my guy. I'm turning up.
You know,
2.0 coming too.
You know who expressed themselves over the weekend? Doug Rose.
Doug Rose. Shout out Doug Rose. Yo, how hyped did the house? So for people that don't know, Fort came over with. It went from literally, I thought 5 or 6 people were going to be over, and all of a sudden my neighbors
like
came
11,
over, dog.
12.
I had no idea. I invited them over, didn't think they would come. They brought over 6 or 7 people, so we were lit. Dude, the house was lit the moment they announced Doug Rose won, right?
Yeah.
That was the loudest pop of the night.
Of course. I think like maybe even like at the event too, because dude, 48, 47, I was like, oh shit. And I'm like standing up on that chair, and like
Close.
one of the dudes that was there was like, you could tell he got money on that shit. I'm like, damn right, I got money on this shit, dog.
Yeah, he did say that. That was funny. She did her thing. Respect. You know, it's hard to it's hard to, first of all, defeat the Chinese girl was a champion. That's who
she took her belt. Yeah.
And then to beat her a second time, and usually when you try to beat a champion, whether it's the first time or whatever, switch hands, you gotta beat them like pretty handily. Like you're not gonna win that title. So first time, obviously she knocked her out. It was called by the ref, and then the second one was by decision. I knew she wasn't gonna beat Doug Rose, because you need to beat a champion like 49, 43, whatever the numbers, however they work out. But yeah, that if it goes decision, you're not going to be favored automatically.
No.
Yeah, that car was wild.
Yeah, that car was wild. The Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje fight, that's like fight of the year, at least like top candidate for it. And then, I mean,
I might rewatch it later or tomorrow because I got that.
Yeah, as you should, because that whole card was just nuts. I mean, Frankie Edgar getting kicked in the face, and he's just like, bro. My brother told me this yesterday. He's like, I hope I never get chin kicked like that, because that shit looked bad.
I don't even like Brie when she punches me in the arm, let alone a
kick right
5 toes to the chin,
dude. And then I mean, Kobe and Usman, I think it lived up to the hype. I don't know who can beat Usman right now. Like, Usman is undefeated. Like he said,
I heard on the Rogan podcast that he might start taking like money fights, because like, you know, he proved his worth. Where else are you gonna go? You beat everybody below you. So at this point, just take. I mean, what money fights are you going to take? Whatever draws the most, I think he's going to take. He's not going to take people that he has to prove. Not again. It's about, at this point, you got this stage. It might not come. You're lucky. Not a lot of people get where he's at. You got to cash out as many times, because you don't.
Especially in
your
the
career
UFC.
could be over in one more fight. You don't know.
Yeah, he was. I don't even know what it was, but he was on something with Max Kellerman, and he was saying that he wants to fight Canelo, like box Canelo.
That's what they might have meant by like money fights, like just go do some hybrid shit.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what Kellerman said. He's like, that's the money fight. He's like, nah, I don't even care about the money. He's like, he's like, that's what wakes me up. Like, that's something that like challenged me. That's something that scares me. And that's like the point of everything. He's like, that's what I want to do it for.
Yeah.
But he was making these faces because Max Kellerman was like, you want to fight Canelo? You want to box Canelo? And he's like,
yeah, that's wild.
so he didn't really give like a yes, no answer, but that would be his biggest payday for sure. And I mean, him and Adesanya, my brother was telling me, said that they would fight for 100 mil. So
Damn.
the UFC wants to give him 100 mil. They'll make their money back for sure because everyone will be tuned in for that.
Yeah, we had that fight going on at the same time. I got to sit down and maybe try to catch it on some type of channel or rewatch that because they went the distance. Canelo, we didn't hear it, but we would assume it was an unanimous across the board.
I think did he knock him out in the 11th round?
Did he?
Yeah,
I forget. By that time, dude, by that time it was like 1 a.m. I was I was already lit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I woke up the next morning like, oh, I hope I locked up the house because I don't remember locking up. You know what I mean? So, shit.
That's funny. Time did go back an hour too that night, so
yeah,
you got an extra hour.
Bro, I didn't get out of bed till 11 a.m. So I technically slept till noon. If you want to be honest, that's the beautiful thing about Sunday. You make no plans. All you got to do is. Well, I have to set a fantasy lineup. If I'm gonna wake up at like 12:30, 12:45, I can set my lineups, wake up, football. That's the beauty of Sunday football. Let's see. Oh, Dune on HBO Max. Everybody should check out if you guys like Star Wars. All right, you gotta get down, buddy. If you like Star Wars, I enjoyed it. I'm gonna rewatch it, to be honest. It was a long movie.
Bro, so long.
Yeah, it was long. I think I got to rewatch it for a few reasons, but I think the writing wasn't great. I'm big into dialogue and characters, and I don't think they developed the characters long enough for a long movie. They didn't develop characters like Jason Momoa. I won't give it away, but like they didn't develop the character of him and the boy enough for it to be significant when he got into a fight or something. So it's a great movie for visuals. It's cool. They already announced that, I think even in the beginning of the movie, they announced this was episode 1 or like series 1. So you knew there was going to be 2 or 3. Yeah. So immediately you knew, but yeah, it's worth checking out. If you got HBO Max, you're not paying for it other than your subscription. As far as that, other than that, actually, shout out Ashley Mann. She started her own podcast on AEW and WWE called Kick Ash Podcast. Check it out.
Nice. I saw that.
Listen to us and listen and watch wrestling. It's always good to get kind of behind the scenes. She released 3 episodes in 1 week. I listened to all 3. I love it. She's learning just like us. We're kind of learning from each other, asking each other little tidbits about editing or kind of, the process of doing it. Cause it's actually, I give her more credit than us. She's doing it solo. So she's
I was just about to ask you, is she doing it by herself or with someone
solo?
else?
She's probably going to have guests on. I'm going to try to hop on, but like hitting record and just talking by yourself, it's a little awkward. I mean, I could do it cause I could talk to this cat.
It's tough too.
Whatever. But that's it for me.
This cat.
Yeah, that's it for me. Anything little that you wanted to mention? Obviously, we haven't been on in a couple of weeks, and we might not be on for, like I said, if everything moves smoothly this week, we'll try to hop on any day next week. Because now we have the liberty of, like I said, 2 people we can hop on. You're back in Jacksonville where you live a hermit life, and I'm here and I live a hermit life, so I could hop on at fucking 2 p.m. if we wanted to. Yeah, but anything on your end that you wanted to mention or kind of?
Nothing I can think of really right now. I did talk to like my parents about that whole Henry Ruggs thing. That's just sad all. That's just sad all around. Everyone involved.
So Henry Ruggs, wide receiver for the Raiders, if people don't know, got into a bad car accident. Was going $160 something in Vegas,
bro.
Alcohol level double or triple.
Yeah.
Girl died with her dog. So
yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter if he's. I mean, I'm a firm believer in second chances. Mike Vick got a second chance. A lot of players got second chances, but I mean, just the fact that this is when I know I'm getting old and I'm starting to kind of like mature. At least I'd like to think so. Like, yo, he's 22, bro. Like, I can't
Yeah, bro.
imagine, like, and he's watching that in front of him. Like, he's watching someone else life go away, like burn right in front of
He
him.
can't
And
do nothing at that point. There's nothing
he
you could
can't do
literally
shit.
physically do.
He can't do shit. And he knows at the same time that
He's fucked.
his
His life is
is,
over. Well, not over, but his
but
NFL career is over, and
yeah,
his life is about to change for the worse.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I know he did something he wasn't supposed to do, but we all did things we weren't supposed to do when we were 22. And I can't imagine the things I would have done at 22 had I had Henry Ruggs money and a Corvette living in Vegas. So, I mean, just, kind of just like keep those thoughts to yourselves in this kind of situation because we don't know what could happen. And
Yep.
I guess just kind of like keep him in your thoughts, even though he did something bad, but like he's still a human. And it's sad. I feel for him because I don't know what I would do. Like that.
And let's
just
be
sucks.
honest, we've all been in a similar situation. Maybe not going $160 on the Vegas Strip in that car, that drunk, but we've all been in a situation, where we shouldn't have been driving. We were doing silly things, and it can happen to everybody. So if you're looking at a news story like that, and like any of the topics we discussed prior, you're not perfect, and that person wasn't, and that person just got bad luck and a dumb ass decision, and he'll pay for that for the rest of his life. So we'll see how that turns out, and it's not going to be good because someone died. So
Yeah. So that's sad. Like I said, sad situation all around, but I don't know what's gonna happen. It's 2 to 20 years there. So
yeah, it's pretty grim. So hopefully, and then people criticize like David, Derek Carr for like saying like prayers out to him, and like
yeah,
people are like, dog, at the end of the day, he knows him. That's like your friend. Like if you did something stupid that I didn't agree with, I'd still like not have your back, but I'd still be like, my energy, because I don't say prayers, but my energy's towards you, and hopefully you could improve. But like people were criticizing that's some lame shit. Like, what are you supposed to do? Turn your back on everybody that does some dumb shit? Like, yeah, he did a dumb mistake. He's gonna pay for it regardless. It doesn't matter if your prayers are with him or not.
He already is. And
Exactly.
even though he's not like indicted or anything like that, like that, even if he only goes to prison for 2 years and he goes back to the NFL, like he's gonna think about that shit every day.
Rest of his life, yeah.
Yeah, like just knowing what he did, and I think that's enough consequences for his actions. But
For sure.
I mean, justice has to be served. So,
yep.
I mean, he should have all the best lawyers and everything. I'm not taking sides or anything, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But it's a sad situation all around.
100%. All right, let's wrap this up. That was the epilogue of the Utility Players podcast. Next time you guys hear our voices and or see our beautiful faces, obviously I'm rocking the beanie in South Florida because if it goes below 78 degrees in South Florida, it's really fucking winter, and it's been cold, and we love it down here because now we can get the fire pit going. We got windows open throughout the day and night, so it's a beautiful, beautiful life we live here in South Florida. But next time you guys hear and see us, it'll be on a new platform, new energy, new everything. So maybe Bet the Fort will bless us with some bets this week on social media. Get that back going. He's got an impeccable record. We don't want to delete that or push that to the side now that we're starting something new, but we're going to continue on social media like we normally do with some refreshing things. Please hit us up with any feedback you have about what we did in the past and what we're going to do in the future, because we're doing this for fun and some creativity, and we want you guys to be a part of it. So for myself, Elvis Escobar, Danny Fort, Fort David, until next time, peace.
Peace.